So why do you think Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how the voting goes for the Hall of Fame. I think that's above my pay grade. Is it crazy? It's definitely crazy. And to Skip, to your point, I feel that both the dynasty and the Patriots were made for all three of the guys, Kraft, Bill, and Tom. I think they all needed each other. I mean, this essentially what it was Bill was Congress. He used to pass the laws, and the players, and Tom was the sheriff. He'd enforce the law. You know what I mean? And it morphed to where Tom took it to another level.
Yep.
But I think that template of what Bill shared with Tom daily of how to prepare, how to make the environment as tough as possible so that when you play on the weekend, it's the easiest it's been seen. It was all implicated because of Bill Belichick. So I think it's crazy that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No.
But, a lot of people hate winners, so I don't know.
True that.
You don't like seeing us win, TJ. You even said it earlier.
I know that.
Everyone gets
Everybody
sick.
hates the Giants.
Everyone gets sick.
Look, it feels good being the Giants player.
Believe it or not,
It feels good being the Giants player.
Hey, believe it or not, I got my first dub against y'all in Cleveland.
I remember.
So, it started early in my career. But,
Then we got you that one game. Then we got that one game, 2 minutes.
I was like, hey, man.
How'd you guys get that?
They
I was
cheated
part of that
us.
game.
They threw it up
2 minutes.
the last minute and gave him pass interference on the goal line. They ran it in for a touchdown, man. I was like, that's some.
How many points were we down with? Like a minute?
Man, I don't know. We kicked the onside
14
kick.
or something? How we win that game?
They got the ball. We still
How we win
won.
it?
They
I don't
threw it
even
to
know.
the end zone, pass interference, and gave him the touchdown.
Everyone
I was
hates
so
a winner.
hot.
Everyone hates a winner.
You're right. We don't know who's in that voting room.
We know two of the guys who came out and said,
And Polian is one of them. But I'm gonna say this, and I think it has a lot to do with the Spygate issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feel burnt by that whole situation.
He won 3 Super Bowls after.
Right,
Bro.
But I'm speaking for maybe what may have been.
and Jimmy
right?
Johnson came out and said, everybody do that shit.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
What
So-
may have been.
they-
I'm not the
Yeah, but they
judge
got to make an
or the
example out of you
executioner.
almost.
But this is the only reason I could see why he didn't get in, right? Because the credentials are there, the testimonials from his players, Brady, guys like yourself, and there's 100 other guys that are going to talk about how good and how great a coach he was, and they wouldn't rather play for anybody else. But like you said, it's the opposers that may be in the situation to say, hey, I feel slighted by this. I feel slighted by the evidence being destroyed. I feel slighted by the cameraman coming forward and saying all the stuff that he did, all the archives of evidence that got destroyed, people being here, people being there, whether it was the Rams and Mike Martz or the Jets or the Packers. It's a lot of talk out there about how this situation, how Spygate affected wins and losses during that time. So those are the only reasons why I could see why he wouldn't, or why those guys, took it personal and said, hey.
Barely play the Packers or the Rams.
You know what? But they said it was.
Barely play them. Once every 4 years.
Yeah. Well, whatever happened.
That
with
one
them,
time they
was
lost.
upset.
And a guy who was part of it
Whatever they had.
left and got his ass beat and felt played and
Mangini situation, right?
He just left and
I
told,
played for
bro.
Mangini.
Like, come on,
After
bro.
he
You
left
talking about
the
something
Jets.
that all coaches
He
was
never
doing.
spoke about it.
If
but,
Jimmy say everybody was doing it, everybody was doing it.
Yeah, he spoke to you?
Oh,
And Mangini was Mr. Belichick. We used to be like, hey, calm down on the Belichick, man.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of respect there between him and Belichick. But he's quoted saying, hey, don't do that shit in our house. When you come to New York, don't do that filming and the size. And so I think maybe you saying Jimmy Johnson, everybody does it. I think they saying that the Patriots took it to another level, man. They did a little bit too much.
So they did, you might have saw this, Skip, but they had 2 voters that did come out and talk about why they didn't vote for Belichick. Both of them agreed that one of the reasons was that there were some senior players still on the ballot that they thought might not have another chance to get in.
Roger Craig was the big
Exactly.
one.
So they gave them their vote. But one of the voters did mention that Spygate did play a factor.
Sure.
Why he didn't vote for Bill Belichick. So
Roger
I
Craig
think
over Belichick?
Right, that's what I'm like, bro.
Yeah, but that
That was a thousand guy.
It was
I get it.
gonna be-
He's great.
Yeah,
I'm a nice
Wait
fan.
a second. Wait a second.
Lower
It's going to be
Belichick.
Roger Craig's last shot If you don't give it to him now, he'll never get it.
Well, what they got to do
And that was
with
their.
Bill?
I'm just telling you what the argument was, because I agree
But that's
with
how it
Bill.
always is. It's
In
getting
what
harder
world
and
is Bill
harder. It's
Belichick
always
not a
gonna be
first ballot Hall of
someone who
Famer?
can
He absolutely
get
is.
kicked out.
Exactly. He's
I
going
just
to be the
think the
last
voters
person to
are
get
taking
left
that
out.
into account.
But
There's
Roger
no
Craig
way in no
definitely
world
belongs in the Hall
do
of
you
Fame,
pick
though.
two senior players and Kraft and just say, all right, well, I could pick Bill, Mr. Kraft, and I got all these senior players. Well, give me Kraft and these two senior players. Bro, that's just wrong. Like, that's a personal vendetta against somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's clear as day. So, it's bullshit.
It's crazy.
All right,
Well,
my
you guys
turn.
both play. I ain't never played.
I'm going to tell you exactly why this happened. I've known many of the voters over many years, and I'm going to remind all of you, Mr. Kraft has been up 14 times and been denied entrance into the Hall of Fame. Think about that, 14 times.
That's insane.
The principle operating here is the same principle by which all those voters for the Baseball Hall of Fame have refused to vote for Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Mark McGwire and Alex Rodriguez. They cheated. So
Everybody else.
like it or not, Bill did preside over the two biggest cheating scandals in NFL history. Spygate you mentioned, you didn't mention Deflategate. And on Spygate, I know Eric very well, Eric Mangini, and you're right. He called Bill after being his defensive coordinator, and this is Eric's first year with the Jets, and he called him the week before they were going to play each other and said, hey, you do it to everybody else, just please don't do it to me. And you know Bill, screw you. He did it to Eric, and Monday morning Eric called the league office, and the rest is Spygate history. And it didn't help Bill that Don Shula, the winningest NFL coach ever, you asked me how many chips he's won. He won 3 chips. May he rest in peace. But he came out on several radio shows and called Bill Belichick Belicheat. That resonated with a lot of voters. And I get what you're saying. And by the way, I love it that you guys are defending him because you love him with all your heart and soul because you won with him, and I respect that. But I'm just telling you the why of the voters. Then we got to Deflategate, and if you remember, this offended me. Bill called his own press conference the Saturday before you left for Phoenix to play the Legion of Boom, right? Okay, so that's the Deflategate period. And he threw Tom straight under the bus and said, don't look at me. You got to ask my quarterback. No, you're the head coach. And he knew every little detail. He's as hands-on as any head coach there's ever been in this league. And so you have an idea what your quarterback is doing. And then, as you know, Tom went to district court and won in district court against the NFL. And then the NFL, of course, took it to appeals court, and Tom said, you know what, the season is here. I can't distract my team or myself. And he took his 4-game suspension, and the rest is still Super Bowl history. But the other point is that you have to understand the voters are stepping back, looking at Bill's body of work. And all your points about Bill, I always said it was 75% Tom and 25% Bill. But you can argue it's you can split it between Kraft and Bill and Tom, and I respect that immensely. But if you look hard at Bill's record, so he's in Cleveland for 5 years and he got fired, and he went 36-44. And then he goes to New England, and that first year they were 5-11. In the second year, I know this for a fact because I knew a couple of the assistants, they were ready to put their houses on the market because they fell to 0-2 quickly, and they thought they weren't going to last through the year. And then that guy from Michigan, that 6th-round pick, fell out of the skies into Bill's lap, and you can credit Bill for it. I got it, but the rest is really Super Bowl. It's GOAT history is what happened. But then Tom leaves or gets pushed out. I thought he got pushed out the back door by Mr. Kraft and Bill. But after that, Bill goes 29-38. Not great. It was kind of a disaster. And they made one playoff game at Buffalo, and the vaunted Belichick defense never made Josh Allen punt one time in that game. Not one time. So that doesn't look great that without Tom, Bill was 65-82. And then I'll throw this in because this deeply offended a lot of the voters. And you can scoff at this or condemn it, and you should. But they took it personal. The only personal is that Bill was tough on reporters because he wouldn't give you anything. He was smug. He was arrogant. He was difficult. He was, condescending. He
And this they
shrugged.
get back.
Huh?
And this they get back, right? Like, yeah, now.
There's a little of that
get your ass
operating.
back now,
okay?
Bill.
All right,
Like,
there's a little of
this
that.
They get back, right? Like,
But-
come on, bro.
Okay, but we start with the 2 cheating scandals, and you're just going to get docked one time, and he'll be in next year. But I just think enough of the voters said you just have to take a principle stand.
All right, so Tom
Okay.
going to get docked too, right? The greatest quarterback of all time. Tom not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Shit, you never know how this is.
Yeah.
The way this
Man,
shit just
come on.
happened,
No,
man.
no, no.
Now,
I'm
you can't-
pretty sure.
You
There's
can't
no
be
way.
surprised. I mean, look, if
Oh,
you look
God.
at Belichick,
Yeah, it's unfair
you
that
can't be
Belichick should take it.
surprised if it happens. First off, hey, man, look, the whole shit started off with the tuck rule, and that was a fumble. So you could say that the whole
was
dynasty
definitely
started
a
off a
fumble.
bad call.
Yeah.
And a cheat from the NFL
By the
favoring
letter
the
of law, it
Patriots.
wasn't a fumble, though.
It wasn't.
Oh, it was a fumble.
By the rule, if the arm is going, I don't know. That's just
Arm is going
Arm is going for it
tuck.
to get hit.
He tucked it, and
Kind
it
of
was
like
a
the
fumble.
Broncos shit. That's why I was just trying to say the same shit.
But look,
Like,
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. This is just fact after fact after fact after fact, like Skip say. Now, whatever happens based on those facts and based on how the voters see things, obviously
Tom
you
was
can't
great
be
with the
surprised.
media, and he's still in the media. Like,
Yeah.
No,
he's not going to get punished.
From what I'm saying, I'm not saying he shouldn't. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, what just happened with Belichick, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, yeah, I'm going to shut it down. I do think that it's bullshit, and he should have been in the first ballot Hall of Famer. So let's move on, though.
Well, that closed the case.
Yeah.
If you,
All right, I'm gonna take that stand.
it's over.
At the end of the day,
Jury
I
has
this conversation. I know you guys. We all know everybody watches the show, for my opinion. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's obvious. So
You heard what Kinsey said. It's over with.
they're not here for
Next
Julian
topic.
Edelman. They're here for me.
Yeah.
All right, next topic, though. They do tell me when to move on, you know? Are you a forever Patriot? Are you